I will make decisions based on how you are, on whether I want you in my life, but I am entitled to that. When you pretend to be something else, you will never find your audience. You won't find your tribe because you're too busy trying to morph into whatever you think they might like. Aren't you tired? Hey, it's Beauty. Welcome back to my channel. Yes, I'm in my PJs, and that's because I woke up and chose violence today. And if you've seen the title of the video, you can kind of figure out where my headspace is at. I told y'all last year that I was gonna start back making content for myself, and this is just what that is. Anyway, if you're new to this channel, here we focus on building a life that feels just as good, if not better, than it looks. And that looks like different things at different times. So stick around. I think you have a bunch of fun, but let's get into today's topic. Okay, the types of people that I refuse, I just refuse, I refuse. If it wasn't that I refuse to waste my work in a degree, that's what I would title this video, because that is just how fed up I am or have been of myself in the last week. So it's caused me to do a lot of reflection, and coming in at number one, nonchalant. Baby, when I tell you that with how much has occurred to me in the last year and a half, and then before that as well, but particularly in the last year and a half, when I say that you have to be socialant, and I'm talking male or female now. This is why the video is titled People. I can't date men that are nonchalant. I can't befriend women that are nonchalant. How you do one thing is how you do others, right? So if you're one of those people that wears not caring or not worrying or not being bothered as like a badge of honor, you can't even be in my life. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because when I say I'm socialant, I may not be chalant about everything and everyone, but those that I choose to be here, I'm chalant. And while I don't expect everybody to express it the same way, you're not gonna be nonchalant about me. A person only has so long until the nonchalant is just not gonna work. Okay? Do the nonchalant thing with people who want to be nonchalant with you. I don't care. Y'all can play those dumb games, right? But if you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. I don't think I could imagine a worse friendship right now than with a girl, for example, that just pretends not to care about anything. Like, what do we even have in common, girl? What we doing here? Okay, number two, emotionally bankrupt. I'm talking about IQ lower than a Ziploc bag, communication down the drain, like just someone that seems like void of emotion. Do you know what I'm saying? Like they're just bankrupt, okay? They're not emotionally stable. They're not emotionally mature. They're not emotionally intelligent. They're not emotionally empathic. Like they just don't have it, you know, on any ground. Now you may be wondering what's the difference between that and the nonchalant person, but the nonchalant person doesn't care to give it to you. The emotionally bankrupt person doesn't have it to give it to you for one reason or another. Either way it goes, it's not gonna fly over here, buddy. Try it with somebody else. I've done my part. Let's put it that way. I think I've done my fair share of like meeting people beyond halfway and valuing them enough that I was willing to overstep the halfway mark, but we're not doing that no more. Number three is followers. Oh my gosh. Now this one has been a lifelong something for me. I don't know what it is about someone who cannot stand on their own 2 feet that bothers me. Like you notice that they just go with the wind. Like one week they're this way because they're with this group of friends. Next week they've changed their entire image, you know, because this is what's in right now. You know, like it goes along with that person that just always has to be in trend. They dress trendy, they act trendy, they listen to music that's only trendy. Like everything has to be like in accordance with what everybody is doing. Not gonna work, babes. I'll wish you well from afar, but you can't be in this space. Like what we're doing here is curated. What we're doing here is based on the feels. Like it's unique to me and whoever that person is, right? My friendship with person A is not my friendship with person B, right? So if we were all just following, oh, what's in right now? What's the slang that everybody's saying? What's the restaurant that everybody's visiting? Like, boring. No, life is already mundane enough. We don't need any of that. You have to have a mind of your own. Have to, non-negotiable. Number four, religious people. I'm gonna wait. Okay, I just wanted to give those people a chance to click off because those type of people are exactly what I'm talking about, right? For a long time in my life, the three things I never discussed with people was politics, sports, and religion, because people would be ready. Do you hear me? Ready to die on a hill. And those three things have never been so important to me that I carried it like on my head, right? I'm gonna make a whole separate video about religion in the coming months. I'm not ready yet because the download is not complete yet, so I don't want to go into it, but I have thoughts, right? But let's just say this, as someone who used to take offense to people referring to God with a lowercase g, like if you would write God and you didn't capitalize it, like you used to offend me personally. I had a period of time where I was like that. And let's just say for most of my life in general, I've always like kept a relationship, which I never again felt the need to announce. Many people didn't even know that I practiced because I wasn't doing it for anybody. I wasn't doing it for anyone to say that I'm a person of God or da-da-da-da-da, right? I was just my own, I was building my own relationship for myself. So please hear me when I say that religious people cannot sit with me right now. They can't sit with us. And the reason I'm saying this is because if I tell you that I just had the worst day ever, and I go on to narrate the entire scenario for you from when I woke up to right now as I'm talking to you, and your response is it is well, or I tell you that I'm having a particularly hard time, whether it's at work, whether it's a spiritual thing, whether it's like a creative block, whether it's financial, whether it's mental, and your response is let's pray, you'll never hear from me again. And this is no offense. Again, we believe in what we believe in, right? But people need help more than they need prayers. And sometimes that help looks like you not saying anything at all. Sometimes it's your presence, right? Because say, for example, I need $20 million right now. You may not have $20 million to give me, right? Say, for example, I'm having a psychotic break. You're not a doctor, right? But what is praying to a God who did not prevent me from even being in this situation gonna do for me right now? You're aggravating me. You see, there's a critical thinking aspect that's lacking here that I just cannot do. There is room for one religious person in my life, and she knows who she is. And it's because she's worth her weight in gold to me, right? It's because we respect each other's journeys. It's because I don't overstep her boundaries and she doesn't overstep mine, right? Now, this didn't happen overnight, right? Because I'm going through changes more as of recent. But the point is just that I've never been a rigid person, and I've always been flexible as far as what I'm willing to accept, depending on who I'm dealing with. But again, it's an exception. Let's be clear. We ain't handing out exceptions to any and everybody, right? The worst men that I've met on this planet were men of God. The worst friendships I can imagine that I would have would be for women who consider themselves religious, right? I have not been misfortunate enough to deal with friendships that have that, but I have met quite a few religious men, and I know the way that they roll, right? So all that to say, yeah, that's a no for me. It's gonna be a no for me, dog. Okay, number 5 is gonna be lazy. Okay, lazy people, come to the front. Get out. Get out. Because when I tell you lazy people will drain you, they will drain you, right? Some of them may not even consider themselves takers, but because they're so lazy, if you want to be in their life, you will find yourself always having to supplement, no matter what that may look like. Whether it's the friendship where you're the one that always has to make the plans, whether it's the relationship where if you don't bring something up, nothing happens, right? Some people are lazy in language. Like when a person is so lazy, they will literally cut corners to avoid doing any type of work, no matter what that may look like. But again, how you do one thing is how you do everything. Typically what that looks like is they're lazy in their career. They're lazy in their relationships. They're lazy in their day-to-day lives, right? Not worth it. But for the sake of this video, I'm talking about me now, okay? You're not gonna be lazy with me. And I'm not going to stick around long enough to find out if I'm gonna be one of the things that you include in your exceptions, right? If I'll be the one thing that you're not lazy about. I don't know that. Okay? I don't have I'm special syndrome. I've never been that girl. Okay? I know I'm special to me. I know I'm special to people who love and care about me. But I don't think that every single person in the world has to see me that way. And so I'm not gonna think that you're gonna do me any different. Look around you. Look how you live your life. Gotta go. And speaking of not special, the next one is male-centered women and women-centered men. Hear me out. So the first one is the male-centered woman. I can't befriend you. I cannot be your friend if everything you do is with the consideration of a man, right? You won't leave your house in sweatpants and a hoodie because what if you run into the love of your life, right? What if he only likes girls in tight dresses? You got a BBL because you found out that's what the men like. Then you took it off because you found out that they actually like skinny women. Like, it's too much. We can't sit and have dinner, lunch, travel without you just, it's always some type of boy crazy activity. I can't do it. I can't do it. Men are not that interesting. Genuinely. They're not. They're not that interesting. Okay? Biology has created it to where that we somehow have made enough excuses for them that we tolerate them. But they're not that interesting. Not for us to be spending our girl time revolving a life around them. That's a no for me. And I'm not saying don't date men. I'm not saying don't entertain them. I'm saying we're not going to spend 24/7 of our time doing this. We're not even going to spend 50% of it. That's too much. It was never that serious. Now on to the women-centered men, right? Obviously, I had to use centered because I wanted to keep it equal. But women-centeredness for men doesn't actually look like women-centeredness, right? The average guy is not actually centering his life decisions around women. Let's be very clear. Like universally, yes, men make the money so they can attract the girls, But at the end of the day, 95% of them are really doing everything to show the next guy that he got it, right? They'll never admit it, but at the end of the day, you're not sleeping with 3 different women at once because you feel like it. You're trying to prove something to the next guy, right? You didn't make all that money and decide to spend it all on working girls or at the strip club because you just like women. No, you're showing off, right? There's somebody that you're trying to impress there. This is why men listen more when the advice comes from another guy. This is why I've seen several men who clearly obviously don't enjoy the company of their lady, but they'll keep her around for the physical aspect, right? Meanwhile, on an emotional level, on every other level, they'll rather be with their homeboys, right? So I'm saying all that to say that men don't rate us the way that we rate them anyway, right? It's all shallow. It's all the beauty. It's all how much money can I make so that I can get the baddest B, have the largest house, drive the nicest cars to impress who? Other men. Okay, so let's leave that topic alone. What I'm highlighting here though is that a man that is literally women-centered, again, for whatever reason, the root doesn't matter, but the one that literally you can't go anywhere with him, eyes are wandering, always has to have a roster. His whole identity is chasing girls. Everything about every waking moment is about how he can get inside of the next woman. Dead, right? Actually dead. I can't. This may explain why I've had a very, very specific type when it comes to that. And when I say I can clock it, I can clock it. I've been fooled once in my entire life. Just to give you a heads up. One time. For the most part, I'm able to tell. If you let men talk long enough, you'll find out what they're really into, right? They'll talk themselves right out of your life. And so I'm saying that platonically, like, that's already dead. Because, like, I can't spend our entire friendship listening to you talk about other girls or literally secretly wanting to get in my pants. That's a no for me. But then that type of person, you also can't date him because you already know. You already know that he's for everybody. Ew. But the worst part of all of that is really the fact that you understand that that means he lacks discipline. And the greatest of men have been removed from a place of power due to their lack of discipline. A man that can't say no to his urges, out. If you remove the relationship, he ain't even gonna make a good business partner. He's gonna fumble that large contract because he just needed a quick one. Again, absolutely ew. Let's move on. Comedians. Yeah, I said it. And when I say comedians, I'm not talking Jerry Seinfeld, but he can get it too. He's on that list, right? I have always liked people that are naturally funny. My mom, for example, was like that. She was never trying to make me laugh, but I cracked up so much around this woman, right? Effortlessly. I love that. I'm talking about the people who use comedy as a coping mechanism. So like the self-deprecating stuff. Like, oh, all my content on social media is about how I'm just so ugly, and nobody really cares, dude. Go get some self-esteem. Really, right? Like, or like, I know I'm not a good dancer, so I'm just gonna pretend like I'm not trying to dance so that everyone can laugh, but really, I really wish I could, like, you see it all the time when the girls are like, oh, slay. And I'm like, you obviously weren't trying to slay. Like, why did you? I'm really giving difficult right now. I know I am, but only the people that get it will get what I'm saying. I just mean that, like, there has to be a balance in life. Laugh. You should always laugh, but everything is not a joke. Everything is not a, for example, God, I don't know what that guy's name is. Joshua Neal, I think he is on social media. I found him on TikTok. He is a comedian at heart. You could tell he likes to joke. A lot of his content is supposed to be funny. A lot of it I do find funny, right? But he lost his mom recently, and I was impressed at how he was able to take a break when he needed it. But most of all, when he put the content out about her, he was very expressive. You could tell that he was processing his feelings and feeling his feelings, right? Where I feel like some people take it too far is that they'll go and they'll film the funeral and they'll find something funny to say. And dark humor has its place, because don't think that after I lost mom and my brother that I didn't have my moments too. I'm saying that it cannot be how you cope with every single thing. Those people are exhausting. You can have no serious moments with them, right? Everything is a joke. Like, okay, what is your IQ right now? Because like kids do that. Kids, like actual kids, right? And I'm one of those people that feels like growing up is a scam. So I'm not saying this to even diminish anybody. I'm saying it from the perspective of like your brain is stuck in a 5-year-old's body, because my niece does that. She never knows when to cut it off. I have to tell my brother-in-law before I turn this camera on, make sure she doesn't come in here when she comes back from school, because I know she's gonna roll in here, right? She's very playful. Many times she doesn't know where to end. She doesn't know when the play stops. She doesn't know when it's time to do her homework and like focus on that, right? And part of that regulation happens with growth. No one is telling you to lose your childlike disposition. But my God, who the heck wants to deal with the person that cannot have man, I'm talking too much. Right up there with them, pretenders. Because baby, anyone that knows me knows I have a PhD in leaving you the F alone. Okay? I'm well qualified in leavery. So if I meet someone, and open as I am, I'm like, hey, this is me. And you have the opportunity to be like, hey, this is me as well. And you choose to wear a mask for however long, you deserve all the worst things that life has to offer. Because why would you do that? I take that stuff to heart because of the kind of person I am. Because I don't judge people. And when I say I don't judge people, I don't judge them to the extent that I feel like I'm better than them or that they need to be banished from earth. I will make decisions based on how you are, on whether I want you in my life, but I am entitled to that. When you pretend to be something else, you will never find your audience. You won't find your tribe because you're too busy trying to morph into whatever you think they might like. Aren't you tired? right? But yeah, people do, like girls have done it to me a bunch. It's in passing, because again, they never get beyond that. But I can tell when a girl's talking to me and like you can clearly tell that they're trying to size me up or vibe me out. But I've seen them in other scenarios and I'm like, this ain't how you are, right? So then I realized really quickly, you're either pretending to me, you pretend to them, or you pretend to everybody. Pretend to yourself. After a while, you start believing the things that you're pretending about. That's a hard life. Either way it goes, I can't make the choice to love you for who you are if I don't know who that is. And so those people, not allowed. Oh, I had to save the best for last. Nice people. Give me a minute. I'll get there. Because the average person that hears that statement thinks, well, why would you not want nice people around you? Because niceness is an act. Niceness is a choice. Niceness is variable. Kindness, on the other hand, give me all of that. Give it to me. Give me all of that. You know, kind. We need the kind. Kindness is innate. Kindness is your makeup. It's not like, oh, I can choose to be kind to. If you're a kind person, you're just a kind person, right? It's just the way that you operate. It ain't, no one had to give you a rule. You're not following a Bible. You're not following the Quran, the Torah. You're not doing this for salvation. You're not doing this so you can go to heaven, right? You're just kind. Now, nice people, on the other hand, can be dangerous because you don't know where the niceness begins and where it ends. A lot of times, nice people are doing things out of resentment. A lot of times, nice people are doing things to get something back from you. A lot of times, it's transactional. A lot of times, it's not sustainable, right? This is why when I used to do dating content, I used to tell women to stay away from the nice guys. Those are the worst. They're the worst, okay? And when that mask falls off, baby, you will wonder who you've been really dealing with, right? So no, nice people kind of fall in the category of pretenders too, right? But the difference with the nice people and pretenders is nice people typically, it's kind of like the way that they've been oriented. And what I mean by that is they typically, even when the mask falls for you, if you're in an intimate relationship with them, it doesn't fall publicly. This is why if like you break up with a person or you stop being friends with that person, everybody thinks you're the problem. Meanwhile, it's because they'll be nice to everybody else. That is their persona. They're the nice guy. But he was such a nice guy. I wonder what's wrong with her. Why would she stop being friends with, with her? People think, oh, but she was so nice. I remember meeting her friend that one time. Right? That's the problem with nice people. Is that they act well. Is that they know the things to do to maintain their reputation and their image. And this is all they worry about, is the image. They don't care about actually being good. They just want to look good publicly. They just want people to perceive them as a nice person. Yeah. And a lot of times, again, they're keeping up that niceness because it does something for them. The moment that they don't find you useful anymore, you'll never ever have to worry about them being nice to you. Ever. So what good is that, right? What good is a person like that? When you talking about a kind person, they might have boundaries, right? You may never speak to them again, but you'll know where they stand. And their actions, their natural response to things are very humane. Does that make sense? They may never touch you with a 10-foot pole, but unless you were such a horrible person to them. If they drove by you and your car was on fire, they would at the very least call 911. They won't let you burn, right? And that's what I'm saying. Kind people are kind because they're kind. Nice people are nice because something depends on it. If you are watching this video and you struggle to know the difference, that should be your takeaway there. Ask yourself, if I was of no use to this person, if there was no reputation to hold, if there was no strings attached to this thing that we're doing, would this person still treat me this way? If the answer is no, well, there you have it. All right. Oh my gosh, this is a long video, but that's why I'm making content for myself. If you happen to have stayed this long, drop your favorite color heart emoji in the comments. I love you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.